안녕하십니까 대냥반입니다. 오늘은 가장 짜증이 난다는 미션 중에 하나인 소령 미션을 시작하도록 하겠습니다. 거의 끝자락에 도착했네요. 계속 따라줄 수 있을 거라고 믿고 시작하겠습니다.
So, this firefight, it was, just let me check the calendar, 8 days ago?
Yeah, day of the NATO invasion.
나토가 침공한 그날이지라고 해야 되는데.
After the flashpoint on Stratus, there was chaos. Nobody seemed to know what to do. Finally, NATO got their act together, launched an assault on the Altus mainland.
And CSAT?
Caught off guard by the whole thing. They were there to fight guerrillas, not start World War III. So when CSAT dropped their support, government forces panicked. They were on the back foot, needed to regroup. Major Gavras was put in charge, but it was a tall order. Gavras tried to fortify their position in the northwest, but it was a risk, and he ended up cut off. The guerrillas, they didn't hesitate, stormed its position, sent the survivors running.
Okay, and if you don't mind me asking, how did you come to hear this?
Costas Dimitriou, a lieutenant, and the major's adjutant. Along with Gavras, the two of them were trying to make it to a helivac.
헬리박이 뭐야?
Move 200 meters, front.
와이프 시간이 썩 좋진 않네요.
Hostiles! Fast mover, one click, east.
You say they were trying to make it.
Mm-hmm. NATO took it out.
How?
또한 지금 시도했냐는 이야기를 알고
Fast mover, 200 meters, right.
Tank buster. At that point, they had air supremacy. Caught it on the hop.
Did they have another plan?
Not exactly, but they decided to make a stand at the church.
Move to the church.
And the Major, what sort of a man was he? Was he respected?
Yeah, I mean, his reputation wasn't bloodied in the Civil War. Gavras was his own man, knew when to follow orders and when to adapt them.
Not the type to violate Loak, then?
Well, that's a gray area.
저랑 포함해가지고 생존자는 딱 2명. 상당히 골 때린 상황이죠. 그래서 알티스 사건이 일어나고 나토가
Contact,
알티스를
helicopter, 300 meters, north.
공격하려 했을 때 여기서 시셋은 금방 발을 뺐다.
In the course of the firefight, the Major used a mine dispenser. You can think of it like a portable minefield. This thing throws 14 mines as much as 50 feet, spread out across a wide arc of fire in front of it.
And they're designed to maim rather than kill.
Yeah, but don't get me wrong. They can still be lethal. The Major ordered Costas to place mines too. Alexis, alongside a bunch of guerrillas, they were approaching from the north. At the same time, a NATO squad was moving in on their position. They'd been outnumbered 10 to 1. Like it. To activate the mine dispenser, they could either set a timer or trigger it remotely.
또 대사가 끊겼네요. 안타깝게.
They scattered the mines and sat tight, waiting for the enemy. Facing those kind of odds, it was the only thing they could do.
예비탄차 하나가 생겼네요, 다행히.
Clear.
잠깐 저장을 하죠. 소형이 죽기라도 하면 좀 골 때려지니까. 이 사람은 이미 심하게 다쳤어요. 메디컬을 빨리 얻을 수 있으면 좋겠네요.
Enemy! Dimitriero, engage that man, right up ahead. Contact rifleman. Scratch one. Clear. Contact! Dimitriero, attack that rifleman. Dimitriero, engage that machine gunner. Watch the frag! Clear.
웬만하면 소령은 살리고 가고 싶거든요, 저는.
Contact man! Contact medic! Dimitriero, engage that man! Contact rifleman! Dimitriero, fire at the medic, right up ahead! Cover me, reloading! Move
Find me a
300
message,
meters.
K. Second reload's inbound.
They dispatched another.
Yeah, it was a risk, sure, but government forces were in free fall and the Navy was important. They just had to get to a different LZ before reinforcements turned up and cut them off.
Dimitriero, fire at that soldier, right up ahead! Contact rifleman!
이런.
Engage that man. 6. Fire at the officer. Dimitero, fire at the soldier.
이런.
Man down. Hostile down.
이렇게 한꺼번에 올 줄 몰랐는데.
7. 3. Fire at that soldier. 6. Fire at the officer. I'm on it. Dimitero, fire at the medic. Contact rifleman. Dimitero, attack that rifleman. Right up ahead. Contact man. Dimitero, engage that man. Grenade! Contact man.
Finally, the message came. Second helo was inbound.
They dispatched another.
Yeah, it was a risk, sure, but government forces were in free fall and the major was important. They just had to get to a different LZ before reinforcements turned up and cut them off.
아, 이런. 제발 소령 좀 살리자 이거들아.
7. 3. Attack that rifleman. Right up ahead. 6. Fire at the officer. Enemy! Dimitero, fire at the soldier. Right up ahead. Contact back.
이런.
Down. I've got it. Front. 6. Fire at the officer. Copy, I'm on it. Engaging target. Contact! Front! Contact man! Contact medic! Contact soldier!
아,
7. 3. Fire at that soldier. Right up ahead. 6. Fire at the officer. Dimitero, fire at the medic. Right up ahead. Dimitero, fire at the soldier. Just up ahead. Contact rifleman. Contact man. Dimitero, attack that rifleman. Move
Finally, the
300
message
meters
came.
right.
Second helo was inbound.
They dispatched another.
Yeah, it was a risk, sure, but government forces were in free fall and the major was important. They just had to get to a different LZ before.
아니.
Clear.
Talk to me about the Major. What happened when he returned? Did he survive the war?
Yeah, he did. He's pretty much the reason NATO's invasion lasted 3 days instead of 1. You heard about the fierce fighting at Karakori, right?
Yes, a colleague of mine covered that, actually.
Well, that was Gavris. He held the line till the government capitulated. And now, actually, he's involved in the peace process.
다행히 소령 살렸네요. 제가 여기가 가장 힘들다고 하는 이유가 이 미션 때문입니다.
One, return to formation. Area clear.
What's your position?
With 0, 4, 5, 2, 1, 4. Dimitido, board that vehicle. Spotted a mine.
Copy that.
오호크네요. 그래도 좀 얻어 터지긴 했군요. 여기는.
And Costas, how did your paths cross? I'm still a little unclear.
Oh, Lieutenant Dimitriou. He came to IDAP, to our camp. The AAF provided us with information on the mines. Guy was a wreck, but his training had kicked in. He documented the minefields. Well, as best he could. But for Marcos, it was already too late. He'd already found one. Poor bastard.
Did Costas explain what happened to the others? Those wounded by the mines in the firefight?
No, he got out of there pretty quick from the sounds of it. Andy, though, my colleague here, he reckons some of them were rescued by a NATO response team.
Okay. You've mentioned Alexis was with the guerrillas. Do you know what became of him?
No, his fate's unknown, but I can only imagine he's dead, buried somewhere. Some unmarked grave, like so many others.
아무래도 이번 파트도 여기서 끝나갈 모양이군요. 응? 아직이네요. 이번 파트도 여기서 끝내도록 하겠습니다. 지금까지 봐주신 여러분들 감사합니다. 지금까지 대량반이었습니다.